Hey folks, it's John with Rugged Cams. In this video I'm going to show you some of the top things that you're going to want to do when you first get your system right out of the box, plugged in, set up, monitor turned on. First things first, plug your mouse into one of the USB ports. We typically provide one with the newer systems. If you have an older system and you're just a little confused or jammed up, go ahead and get one plugged in. You're going to want to right click and this will bring your menus up. You're going to want to log in as your local administrator. That password by default is 5 zeros. Once you're logged in, first things first is you're going to want to set your time and date. Make sure that your time zone is all correct. You see here, you go to date and time, or your time zone even. We're Central Time here in Texas, but you may be East Coast, West Coast. You just scroll up or down till you get your correct time zone and you just select it. We turn daylight savings time off because we don't like the DVR making time changes without us knowing. We want to do this ourselves manually. So once you get everything set correctly, you just save it. Then you come over here to your date and time tab and just make sure that each of these fields are correct for your time zone, and then save that. Next, brand new out of the box, all that being as it may, you still want to check and verify that your hard drives that we have installed and initialized showed up to you just fine. They haven't been damaged in shipping due to shock or anything like that. So you come over to your storage tab under the recording tab and just check out that these hard drives are active healthy or online healthy. After that, there's nothing to save here. The next most popular is the network. How do we go about getting that set up? This DVR is not attached to a network cable, but still, the process will be the same. Once you get to your network tab, you're going to come over here and check your DHCP box. You see this information will gray out, but right over in here, you will begin to see new information populate. This will be information that is relevant to your local network. You're going to want to write that down on your piece of paper, your IP address, your subnet mask, and your default gateway. Once you have it written down, you're going to save, and then you're going to uncheck the DHCP and save once more, because we do not want to leave this DVR in the DHCP mode. This is a dynamic mode, so the power blinks out, anything like that, the DVR will wake up and get itself a whole new set of IP addresses. We do not want it to do that. Once you've unchecked DHCP and saved it, you're going to want to check and make sure that the stuff that you wrote down on paper actually moved over into here. If it did not, you just give it a double click, any of these fields that are wrong, and correct for whatever you need it to be so that it matches your paperwork. And then just save and exit. Your next step is your port tab. Come over here and verify the client port that your DVR is set to. Write this down as well. You're going to need this for port forwarding for your remote access. All this that we have done right now so far in the network tab is going to do is get you on your local network, which is a cool first step. But like I said, your next step will be port forwarding, and you will need the IP address, port, and you're going to need to know that it's the TCP protocol when you go to do your port forwarding. Okay, once you have all that, again, just save. Our next step, especially if this is a system that is replacing an older system, you need to go to your recording tab, to the sub-tab labeled recording, and you need to check and verify that your resolutions are set correct. Like I said, if this is an older system that's replacing, or a new system that's replacing an older system, and you have a bunch of older cameras, our DVRs are going to default those at the 960H resolution. Your older D1 cameras, if you leave it set 960H, this is going to stretch your picture. This isn't cool. We don't want it to do that. So you'll want to come over here and reset it to D1. If you have 960H cameras that you're putting up, replacing some of your older stuff, of course, leave it alone. If you have an auto HD DVR, you want to verify that your HD SDI cameras are set 1080p. And then your frame rates. As we send the DVRs out, they're defaulted to motion only. This is our event speed. If you want your DVR to record continuously on any particular channel or all channels, if it's all channels, you just give a double click to the continuous speed, select whatever it is you're looking for, and you see that this makes a global change. If it's an individual channel, just give it a double click and select it. If your event speed motion is too slow, you can again select it and change it. Once you've done all of this, just hit your save button. Okay, the last thing that I get a lot of is new system or somebody's left and blah blah blah. We need to change our usernames and passwords. We don't like using the factory defaults. So we come to our system tab. To line number 3, we see users and our option to modify. For the admin, we're able to change our password, not the username. And this password option, if you disable this, this will take away your ability to log out. We don't want to do that. So leave this always checked. But over here, you know, if it's not the admin account that you're modifying, say it's user 1, you're going to give this to your managers or whatnot. By default, a user 1 account is also an administrator account. But any of these boxes that you don't want them to have the ability to use, you know, like network live, playback, setup, whatever, if you uncheck it, then this user will not have that ability. Say your manager, you don't want them getting in and modifying your setup account. Just uncheck setup and you can hit your modify button, which will save it. If you don't want that particular person, you know, monitoring channels 1, 2, 3, and 4 because it's the break room in your office, uncheck those channels, and no matter what that user does, they will not be able to see those channels. Once you have everything set correctly for that particular user, you know, you can change username and their password. If you do this, just make sure you write these things down, keep them. We do have a way to backdoor these DVRs and get past this information once you've modified it, but it is not a pretty task. So, like I said, folks, this is pretty much the long and the short. This is what most folks need or want to do when they first get their systems. But as always, if there's a topic that I haven't touched on or you're a little confused about anything, you can always give me a call. I'll be glad to help you.